Welcome back to Sports Tonight. We're broadcasting live from Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. It's the first edition for the year 2018. Guys, 2018 is here. It's the World Cup year. It's the year for the Commonwealth Games and a whole lot of international competitions in Nigeria. We'll be competing. We've been talking to a lot of sports enthusiasts, administrators, officials, our federation's president, and all of them are hopeful that 2018 will be a good year. Michelle Obi is a respected sports journalist in Nigeria, and it says, look, we did a lot in 2017, but what are those things that we didn't do? We should start doing them in 2018. Let's listen to the master. We'll be right back.
The biggest moment was Nigeria's World Cup ticket. It came against so many predictions of a group of deaths. Nobody died at the end, but Nigeria was living high, and I think it was a moment to cherish. That we could beat the African champions and still pick a World Cup ticket. It made all the difference, and I think it compensated for the lack of direction and vision that marked 2017 sports-wise. And perhaps you don't want to blame it on those who have the responsibility to direct Nigerian sports. I think the vision is not clear. Nigeria has not made up her mind exactly what she wants to do with sports. Until we do that, and it's very simple. If sports is supposed to be a catalyst or an enabler of the sustainable development goals, then we are on the right path. And that is perhaps the protocol which Nigeria signed in the United Nations to use sports as an enabler in furthering the sustainable development goals. And yet here in Nigeria, we are still bringing sports to the level of, what do you call it in Pidgin? Play. And it has to be more than that. Sports today is all about the youth. And when you talk about the Nigerian youth and unemployment and engaging them, you begin to see how the value you can place on sport is almost a top notch. And yet we are not giving that attention. I think time has come for us to understand that if we have a president of a country from a sporting spectrum, the message is very clear. The future belongs to those who can operate as a team and use the team setting to convey the team spirit and make a certain result or dividend for the people. And because it's the people's sport and the people's game, you have to really make the people happy. And what is the whole essence of government if we cannot make the people happy?
So that's it. Alibaba told us that sports is a business and it can also be used as a tool for economic empowerment. Michelle Obi says it's a tool for youth development. That if you want to curb restiveness, if you're saying that persons are not doing the things that promotes law and orderliness in the country, if you're saying that youths are restless and causing problems, have you looked at sports? The Mandela looked at the great Madiba, looked at South Africa and says, what other way can we bring this country together? Rugby came to mind. We need to start using our sports to empower persons.
There are lots of young people on the street looking for jobs, are saying there are no jobs, there are no employment everywhere. Now, create a platform for them to know and set a template in such a way that when they come, this Efe Ajagba is in the US. Now, when we come and see that, oh, this person used to train at this stadium.
And now he's in the US.
He's now in the US. There's something it does to their psyche. There's something it does to their mentality. When you create that enabling platform for sports people, for young people to go out there, because the talent is there.
That's right.
We keep saying it. Yeah. The talent is there. It's not lacking. I mean, when you go out on the street of Lagos or anywhere in Nigeria, you see that there are lots of young people who have the enthusiasm to achieve something big. You see young people, they talk about... I've spoken to a young footballer before, and he told me, he said the difference between me and Messi is the fact that Messi has got platform.
That's right.
Came through the ranks with a brilliant facility. And in all honesty, when you see our players do well in Europe, you've got to give them credit because they didn't play with the kind of facilities these Messis and the guys who came through academies at Barcelona and exotic facilities. It's great stuff. And I think it's wonderful when you give young people an opportunity. The problem of employment may not necessarily be completely solved, but they will go a long way in taking a lot of people off the street.
Sports in Yobong, a big massive, impressive tool for youth empowerment. You mentioned Ife Ajagba and Ife Akpochi. They only left Nigeria in July 2017. If you look at them now on social media and the things that they have gone through in the United States, their boxing has been taken to another level.
In another 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, these guys will be global superstars, and will now stand up and say they're Nigerians. We'll now celebrate them and wax lyrical about them. But what are we doing for the ones at home?
And for those, for Ife Ajagba and Ife Akpochi, we were here. I followed their career as amateur boxers. They struggled for about 8-9 years, and in months, some persons in the United States is turning things around for them, not just even locally. Let's go international. Deontay Wilder was on the streets. It was in the streets, and then he was picked up. Actually, the world heavyweight boxing champion.
And why are you picking up people?
That's right. So we need to, because we haven't put down the system. There are enough things in place for persons to look forward to and say, this is what I want to come to. Some guys on the street, and he's saying that out of quality cannot get flight ticket to go for a competition. And he's saying that we couldn't take junior athletes to Kenya for the junior athletics championship. And they say, no, that sector can't empower me.
No,
our leaders need to work.
That has to stop in 2017.
That's right.
And that has to stop, because we need to find funds. We need to find it. We need to look at the commitment that we gave to sport in 2017 and look at it again and evaluate what we did in 2017. What did we achieve?
That's right.
What commitment did we give to sports? Not good enough, in my opinion. So in 2018, we need to put a lot of commitment into sports and see where our country will go. Because like the master said, Michel Obi, he said, what are we looking at sports as? Is it a catalyst? Is it an enabler? Because if we look at it that way and we put a lot of commitment that way, we will see the dividends, we will reap it, and we'll see very clearly. Because when young people are off the streets, you're talking youth restiveness, if young people see that the way out of trouble is sports, I can go out there and get a good facility, get a good platform, get good coaches, good people who are training you. I mean, it's an easy way out, and they would rather be there than be on the streets.